I hope there's no echo.
Right.
Recording in progress.
Bye, Nicole. I love you.
Right.
Recording in progress.
And we're back.
Yeah. This is part 2 of bases 1. Let's we've got let's put me hit the Welcome to part 2 of bases 161 with Victoria Bartolini. Is that correct?
Veronica.
Is that right?
You called me Valentina before, Victoria. I've been called everything. Veronica or V? Or V or... I'm called V.
Hold on here. I think that's... We have a document here, and it didn't print just quite. It overloaded the printer. This is one of the... This is a descriptive one. You got Pete... What do you call this one? This is...
Sheila and the 99. There's 301 pages.
And the 99.
Yes,
and
301 pages.
You back reference Peter the Insider and quite a few other people in this. And I think we did this at the start. You mentioned Max Spears a lot, Misha Johnson, quite a few things. So there's quite a lot in this. This is you get this from Amazon, is that right?
Yes. Yes. Amazon takes 60%.
And book 1's got some very nice AI images on it. And I think we need to explain what that all means. That's your alter or your clone?
A clone.
Yeah. Okay.
That one, they
That's a mermaid.
They like to tell me that, okay, so if you've ever seen the movie with the red character that has the horns but they're cut off and he has a tail and he's an assassin and all that, what's his name? He's one of the characters.
And then we got this one, which is...
Oh, yeah. Okay, so that one, she's Sheila the She-Hulk, and her father she holds the trident because her father is Neptune. And so Sheila can go into the water and become a mermaid. And Sheila has many colored, like the rainbow color of Hulks. I have the yellow Hulk. I have the pink one. The pink one is more like a unicorn hybrid. I have the blue one, which is kind of like the one that you see shape shift into other people in X-Men. I have the red one. The red one is like Hellboy. The red one will kill and destroy. She's not going to forgive. That is the one that I have to be careful with. And I have pictures of her in the book. She has the horns. Now, Hellboy doesn't have all the horns. Remember, they cut him off. But if you see Hellboy, the movie, where they have the fish in the tank, that's kind of like how the mermaid beings are.
Yeah.
I did
the Hulk and horns. Yeah.
Yes, she's. You gotta watch out with her. Do not piss Sheila off. I always tell people don't piss me off.
I think I wouldn't want to. I think that looks. I think that looks a little bit like Maria Wheatley on a bad day. Maria Wheatley would possibly, and then you got these other beings, eagles that look like cacti.
Oh, the eagles! I got to talk to you about the eagles, and that's I got to talk to you about the eagles and Christopher Mellon. Do you see the fish being that looks like a jellyfish and it's red? Can you show that one? Let's see what page it's on.
Is this before that or after it?
Let's see. It's going to be.
I mean, these are all AI images, a little bit like Elena Danan had a lot of her material AI'd. Do you feel that that's got a... Well, that's a very nice... Christopher Mellon. Now, he's one of the guys of the CIA who are... Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah. Yep, that one. So I had a dream of Christopher Mellon it was either Area 51 or Antarctica. We were going somewhere. And I was in a vehicle with one of my family members in there. And I saw Christopher outside one of the facilities. And there was this being. She had 2 legs, 2 arms. She looked like she was a human, but very, very skinny. Like anorexic type. She had, her hair was red. Everything was red. And it just looked like she was a jellyfish being, and she was giving him a dance, and she was laughing, and he was laughing, and I'm like, what's going on? And next thing I know, I'm in. I'm driving, and my family member is with me, and Christopher's behind me, and we have the jellyfish, in the car, in the vehicle, and I'm like, what the heck's going on? Next scene is I'm making some kind of soup, and Christopher Mellon is asking me, hey, is it done? Because it tastes like chicken, and I want some, and I'm like, holy F. I'm like, no, I'm going back to that dream and saving that jelly fish human hybrid being. And I did do a interview, kind of like a reading with Ivan Teller that Chad purchased for me. And Ivan said that, yes, some of them are eaten. So
So
I'm like, oh my gosh, I
Christopher
gotta,
Mellon though is way top of the whole
yeah,
disclosure thing. I mean,
yeah,
is this
Department of
just
Defense.
actually?
Yeah,
But
I don't know why I had that dream, but I'm thinking that maybe I'm part of something there. I did ask John Warner to be on my show, but because there was infighting, he said he didn't want to be a part of it, and he was not. He was kindly declining. He didn't want to. So John Warner and Christopher Mellon are high up in the CIA. They're cousins.
yeah, well,
John Warner, yeah.
there's some very good interviews done by Daniel List with Christopher Mellon, not Christopher
Oh,
Mellon, John Warner,
oh, John
and I
Warner.
think
Yeah,
that's
he's also on your show, right? And Dark Journalist as well.
it's a dark journalist. I think that's I think Daniel List and John Warner
Olivia.
have got a good
Mhm.
relationship. I think they've got it. Not they've got it. Anyway,
Yes.
there's a lot of other images here.
Yes,
Let's
the images
just
are from, like I said, Chad, who's Zen Ray, helped me with a create art. But in my third book, I'm putting out my own, whatever I draw. I don't care what it looks like. It's out there. Like there's the one with the bronze beans that I'm talking about. They look like ravens, but they're all bronze. And then the dark there's a
you
queen
know
there that shows up
your
too.
phone camera. I think it's a bit too far back if you wanted to sort of looking at you sideways. If you see what I mean. Yeah.
Is that better?
Okay. We'll
Okay.
leave it. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So let's concentrate on what you want to deal with in terms of these images and the books.
Okay. All right, we talked about the jellyfish being,
Do you want to talk
and
more about that?
say again.
Just let's go through each one in detail.
Well, as far as the jellyfish being, I know that I have a friend that lives in Scotland, and I think that was her. But I know that I'm also a mermaid, but there's the jellyfish. Um, there's people that do have dreams of being jellyfish or mermaid or lions or whatever.
What do you
Let me
mean?
go through my
What do you
book.
mean that you think it's her? I mean, obviously your friend in
Because she
Scotland is
said
not
she had a
physically a
dream.
jellyfish. But what do you mean
Yeah,
by that?
she said she had a
I'm going to
dream
be
also.
probing a bit more, asking deeper questions.
That's fine. Yeah, that she has had dreams of this sort, that she is a jellyfish being. And she has many videos out there where she is by the ocean and doing a lot of meditation for people, and she clears areas using helps clear people also using the meditation bowl and things like that. I can talk about next, we can talk about page 131.
Okay.
This, she's
Yeah,
the
remember
evil.
the phone gives a better image of that. So if you want to hold it close to the phone.
So there's an evil fairy entity that appeared when I went to visit Chad in Oregon. He told me that his mother was also attacked in the astral.
Okay, I think
Um,
we're talking this.
yes, that one. Yeah, so she pretty much told Chad, she's mine. Leave her alone. And of course, I was there visiting. We went to Cape Blanco. He gave me a bunch of agates that he had found through the year, and I thought that was precious. We had a really good time there. It's just that, and then we were also going through the different movies, and I like to dissect movies, and he wanted me to do that for him. We did that, but this evil fairy, she's hanging out there trying to tell him Veronica's mine, which I do not consent. Okay, that's the evil fairy. Let's see here. Let's go to.
No, she's mine.
She's mine.
Bit like
And
Gordon's alive.
He said she was like this big, like maybe 4 inches big or whatever in the dream.
Explain who this character Ivan Teller is. Is he connected to Edward Teller?
I don't know. Good question. I've done some interviews with him on my channel too, and then he's done some readings. I do readings too, but the only person that I really have gone to readings is him. I do them for me myself. Him, Misha Johnston, and then that was really like for QHHT, for Misha and James Ring. We did QHHT, so did Chad. Okay, going back to page 99. Wow. Sheila and the 99. This one, I've had dreams and visions of being underground and that I have the trident. Now, I find it really interesting about the trident because when the DARPA agent got hold of me,
yeah,
yes, that, and I have an affinity for fire too, fire, water, air, you name it. Before I forget, Miles, I do want to talk about the incident of fire, roaches, and the fairy dream.
Okay, but go ahead with that.
Okay, because Max Fierce talks about that, and I'm like, holy F. So, I wrote it down, about 5 years ago, I was making something in the oven, and there was fire. I opened the oven, and there was fire everywhere, and I thought, oh my gosh, I don't even have a
gas cooker.
Hydrant. Yeah, the hydrants. I don't have a fire hydrant. We didn't have one anywhere in the apartment complex where I was living. And so what I did is I just stood there, I used my hands and my abilities, and I just said, ice. Like I thought ice, and it just went down and it disappeared. That was like, what the hell? Good thing I was there by myself. I think at that time I only had one cat. I didn't have Lola yet. But the other dream, and I have to write about it. I don't know if I wrote about it in the second. Well, anyway, I'm going to write about the fairy one. I think I did. I'm not sure. But I'll check it. Anyway, I'm having this dream where I'm in my mother's old house. And we're in the kitchen, and there's the top compartment cabinet. I open it to grab something for her, and there's these fairies.
There's the phone. Fairies, yeah, okay.
The fairies are flying from the cabinet. And I thought, that's odd. And so I grab one in my hand, and it's a male fairy about this big. Maybe he's like 12 inches. And he has red hair, freckled face, shirt, wings. He has leggings that are, I forget the color, green and orange or something like that. He has little fairy shoes, and he's in my hand. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? So then the fairies turn into little dogs, and then they turn into roaches. So then I start killing them. And then one of them says, don't kill me. And I'm like, but you're a roach. You're not allowed to be in my house or in my dream. Then there's a fairy, a big fairy, female.
What do you call a big fairy?
Like a human hybrid.
I mean, people might call the odd bloke a big. You're a big fairy there, you know.
I see. Like a human hybrid fairy, and she had blonde hair, and she had a pink dress and pink tutu, and her feet are up, and she's given some soup intravenously, and I'm like, that's weird. And I'll tell you what it means in a minute. And then there's another scene that I'm not going to go into because it's part of my family. They don't want me to talk about them. So I wake up. Next thing I know, I'm being sent roaches in my apartment complex. And this was 3 years ago. So I had to get out of there. And it's funny, 3.5 years ago or so, it's funny because I end up in a place where my apartment number is my birthday, 226, and I'm by a hospital, and a month later I move in. 2 months later that I move in here, I'm diagnosed with cancer. The first, well, I've had cancer 4 times. We'll just say the third time. And anyway, the fairy in the dream, I think it ends up being me, because I kept telling people, and I had blonde hair before. I said, I don't want to do the chemo. I don't want to do radiation, because I was reading this book here called The Emperor of All Melodies. And I told people before reading this book, Miles, I told people online, I said, look, do not get the chemo, because it's like when they did the whole thing with the camp in Auschwitz or whatever. Some people say it's real, some people say it's not real. But what happened with when they were experimenting, right, with the Jews and others, the Nazis were experimenting. What do they look like? The poor people, the victims look like no hair, right? They're bald and skinny. And I kept telling them it's because it has mustard gas, and they didn't believe me. I said, you guys are taking chemo, you're getting gas with mustard gas. And they didn't believe me. Well, I read this. I read this just a few months ago, and it says it right there. And I put it on the Sheila and the 99. I explained it there. I thought that was interesting. So the girl fairy ended up being me. Okay, so going back to the part 1, I did find what I was trying to show you, my lamb. This is a lamb that was sent to me via mail by my cousin in LA. She's part of the twinning program. I'll get back to this soon. The book.
What's so important about that little puppet? Is that
because I think I was one of the children that were being taken on the Air Force on the airplane, and then that's when the UFO came in and was picking up the children. But then I saw myself in the next scene running as a male, looking at these 2 black things in the sun. So I still have to figure that one out. But it's weird that I was sent the lamb, and one of the little girls was holding a lamb in my dream. And it'll be in my 3rd book. I already wrote about it. I just have to publish it. Let me show you the picture. It's right here. I drew this in, I believe, let's see, I have the date. Okay, here's the sun. I drew it in 01/11/19. This is a picture of the sun that I was showing you.
Just 2 black dots?
Yeah, 2 black dots inside the sun. This is a ship that I drew. That's Rob Richter. That's one of James's Ring's ships that he was in.
You mean James Rink's? James Rink's ship.
Yeah. This one, I'm in a bubble, and I just wrote about it in the 3rd book. And they actually there's a lady there, and she has claws, and there's another male with me, and I don't know if it's Max or who, but there's a male that's inside this bubble. I'm inside this bubble. It has like diodes on the top, and he's also inside the bubble. And what a female does with black shears, she punctures the bubble, and I run away. I don't know what the hell was going on there. This one, real quick, is about a lady telling me, hey, in a dream, do you like my TR3B? And it's a hand, and then it has black goo like a TR3B. She says that's her TR3B.
Yes.
I find that interesting.
Well, you have tattoos on your arm. Does that got anything to do with that?
I got the tattoos before I had my awakening. I have dragons everywhere. I have 2 dragons here. The guy messed up on it, so I have 2 dragons here. A dragon eye here, holding a baby. This is my dragon eye.
Yes.
And the dragon is holding a baby. I don't know if you see the baby there. Yeah, I have a lot of tattoos. I have whales here, dolphin whales. I have a man, but it's supposed to be me, an angel. The man that drew it for me says that I was an angel with sword. Then I have death on me here, going into life, because I died those 3 days. Okay, so this is the picture that I was just talking about. 01/11/19. This is the military. These are the military guys that I saw. They had just landed the plane. Okay, there's children lined up outside, and then bam, this UFO thing comes in. Okay,
I mean, that UFO looks much bigger than a plane.
I know. That's what I saw in my dream. and I woke up panicked. And then the next scene is where I tell you that the next scene I'm running and I turn back and I see the two, I don't know if they're ships or if they're, because I know the sun is a wormhole. That's how I came in. I came in as a shooting star. You guys can read about the light that came out of my heart in Sheila, Sheila and the
In which
99.
book would they read that?
That would be the first and second. Actually, it would be Sheila and the 99, and then I actually did write about it here. And my life in the secret space program. I just
And
published this
again,
one May.
we haven't done this in part two. So where do they get those books?
Oh, Amazon? Yeah, Amazon.
And what's the
Yeah.
titles?
So on Amazon title, it's My Life in the Secret Space. Sorry, My Life in the Secret Space Program, Veronica Bartolini. And the other one is Sheila and the 99. This one's 301 pages by Veronica Bartolini on Amazon. And the third up,
Uh-oh.
Recording stopped.
sorry. Why did it stop my recording? So weird.
It's because it's
Recording in progress.
I didn't even touch that. Okay. Probably because it fell, right? Okay, so this has me still to this day, like, what the hell? Was I taken? You know, the lamb thing, that still has me worried. This one is in book 3. It's going to be called something like Sheila, Wolverine, Mars, and SSP. This one, I talk about the bronze ravens that come into my dream. And then there's this little cherub guys. They're like little angel cherub kings. They have a crown. And they have a nail-like boomerang that they throw. So the scene goes like this. I'm asleep here. I wake up going into a house. The house is all made of wood inside. The floors are wood. There's a tall Victorian long double mirror. Okay, those ones that you stand in front to look if to look at yourself when you're wearing full whatever dress. And then I have my daughter who's tied up and she has tape and she's going back and forth yelling at me, "Mom, Mom." And there's another of her right behind her. Remind me to tell you about the dreams that I've had of myself, a doppelganger or another one of me. Remind me to tell you that. But anyway, I go in there and I grab her and then she becomes a baby. Of course, I take out the tape and I undo whatever. So I'm pretty much saving her. I pick her up and she becomes a baby. Then with my hand, somehow the light comes out and I flip this mirror and the mirror goes and it's twisting and twisting and it gets smaller and smaller up into the ceiling. The next thing I know, this raven comes in here, all copper bronze dude with the beak comes in, and then from him comes another guy. There's a bunch of these guys running around. The next thing I know, there's a female there. Her name is Tina. I'm glad I wrote about it because I don't, Tina. She's one of the ones that, yeah, she's an enemy now, unfortunately. Anyway, Tina is in the dream and she throws one of those bronze boomerangs at me and I make myself invisible. Okay, the next scene of this dream, I make myself invisible in a lot of my dreams. That's why I'm glad I wrote them down because a lot of times you forget your dreams. So I'm outside of this house and I'm standing next to a man who has a black suit. And I don't know if it's Max. I don't know who it is. It just, there's a tall queen. She's wearing white, and she's evil. And she has her crown. She's very tall, blonde, whitish hair. And she gives me and this man chalice. The chalice is like a golden, kind of like old gold. And around it has like black swirlies. Kind of like, I don't want to call it spider webby, but it's kind of like that. I don't know what it has, but just black in the middle of around between the rim and the bottom. Okay. She has a white basin made out of white granite, and we're outside. And she turns around and she says, "Okay, mix your glasses in." So we pour our chalices in. The chalice is white, is clear, okay? The liquid in our chalice is clear. But when we pour it into this darn basin, it turns black, like black goo. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm not drinking this shit, I told her. And then she has these guards behind her, and she says, you have to. She threatens our bloodline. So here we go, drinking the damn thing. The next thing she does, she goes and she grabs this long red candle, and it's in a gold candle holder with a ring. You know, the little ear things like that, the old, very old style, Victorian. She lights the red candle. And she gives it to me. She says, you have to do, she tells me to do something. And I said no. And I break it in half, and there's red wax on my hands, and I wake up. Then I'm thinking, this ship here, it has metal stuck on it. It's bronze. It has metal thorns, and it has metal, just a bunch of those boomerangs stuck and thorns and all kinds of metal stuck on it. This is 0512 of 2019. A ship came into the atmosphere from nowhere. And it's bronze in colors, and it looks like it has thorns and metallic things on it. And in the middle, it's hueco. How do you say hueco in English? It's just round like a donut. Okay, in the middle, there's nothing in the middle, so it's like a donut sphere. I mean, yeah. Okay. And then there is a gray. There's a girl that is with me. There's a girl, and she's gray. She's gray in color. She's with me. She's very thin, and we both use a key. We have a very long, thin key. We somehow get out of the yard. The yard is full of us that are wearing white, very fine white linen top and bottoms. And Susan Long is there, and other people are there. I told her this dream a long time ago. But we start climbing the fences because we're afraid of this ship coming for us, and then I wake up. So my question is, could this ship be the Ravens and the little cherub king dudes' ship? I don't know. It's in different dates. It could be, because everything, they say that time doesn't exist, and time is not linear.
Well, essentially,
blah, blah, blah.
the time that we are work with is to get a train at a railway station. It's linear time.
Oh, you just reminded me. Railway station. Thank you. The Eagles. Okay, another dream. Thank you for reminding me, Miles. I wake up in a dream and I'm running. I'm like, holy, there's something coming. I'm running. And then there's a distraction, because remember, in your dreams, there's always going to be distraction. The distraction is that there's these crackheads trying to sell me some crack. I'm like, fuck you guys. I'm running. Yeah. And so the next thing that I see is these eagles. They look like eagles, but they're like these green nopales in English is cacti. Beings that look like eagles, but they're cacti, and they're coming from the bottom. I think those could be Nephilim, and they're coming out from the ground, and I'm running. I'm booking it. I'm like, something's going on. I got to get out of here. I don't trust nothing. I'm just running to get out, and I fly. There's a berm. I fly into a train station. The trains disappeared, but I'm on this berm. The top of the train station is still there, like the where you sit and wait for the train is still there, the top. And it's like blue metal. And I'm sitting on this berm, and boom, immediately these beings come. They're all black, beautiful. What page is she on? To this day, she could be my friend Iris, but I don't know. Let me see if I can find the page number where the eagles are. So they have their hair. It's not like this picture. I was telling Chad that they don't have the long hair. They have short hair. It looks like it's tied up to their head, and they have rainbow. They have rainbow colored long, like a gold color, a navy blue, an orange, a red, and a yellow. And in their throat, they have these two thick rings. They could be like from Wakanda or somewhere. I know that they're ETs. I know that they're not. I don't think they live here. They're from somewhere else, but I can't find the picture. My goodness.
Have you been able to get a better description of them and look them up?
No. I just told Chad, hey, do this, do that. So, I mean, I could draw them.
I'll try.
Yeah. And so, do you have the page? How come I can't find it? You just showed it to me, the one with the eagles.
Because I do think
Oh,
Elena Danan's book is very important with those graphics and drawings that she's
oh
made on
really?
that. Yeah. A Gift from the Stars.
Okay.
It's an update
Yeah,
to
that's
the
Star
Russian
People.
KGB book on ETs, obviously with modern
Okay.
embellishments. I'm just getting another water. Keep going.
Okay, and then the mantids. Did I tell you about the mantid guy?
Go ahead.
When I was a kid, I used to play with praying mantids, and my dad's like, "No, they're gonna bite you. They're gonna eat you." And I'm like, "No, I don't want to. I don't. I love them, you know, and they were cool with me." And so I have had these dreams of this ship. It's like a drop. It's like an egg-shaped ship. Those are the mantids. And I did write about it in Sheila and the 99. I was being trapped by James Rink, one of his altars, and I was in a facility, and I was in charge of taking paperwork out of there. It's like I'm always running on from Montauk or from wherever, running from Project Monarch, Pegasus. I'm always running with files. I'm always running, and I have heels. I have my black and white suit, and I'm always running. I'm saving files of my close SSP friends.
Well,
I'm
I think there's
saving their files.
lots of meaning in that in a dream when you're running.
Oh yeah. I'm also part of Maze Runner and Project Wall. What is it? Wall Rider. So, according to Peter, he says that I was running. I was trained in mazes. I would always run with no shoes on concrete, climb walls and things like that. And it's weird because what really happened in my life as a child, my mother and father were poor, so they would have to cut our shoes for our toes to come out. One of my mother's family members would buy me and my middle sister shoes twice a year. One in the winter was black, and one in May time and Labor Day or whatever was white. So we had to take off our shoes and take off our clothes that we would get from hand-me-downs from people. So we wouldn't wear them when we were at home. And we didn't have shoes really. So I mean, sometimes we would have sandals, but I was always running around with no shoes outside. There's a picture that I'm trying to look for. Haven't found it, but I'm outside with my cousin, and it's midsummer. I have my red hair because I used to have red, bright hair. I was born with blonde hair, and then it turned fiery red, like a red, but not this dark red, but like a fiery yellow red. Anyway, so I'm there, and I'm always running outside with no shoes. Even right now, I don't have shoes on. The only time I have to put shoes on is when I have to go like to the gym or to facility, to public. I don't like shoes. But anyway, that's part of the Maze Runner Wall Rider. Going back to the Mantids, this is their ships that I actually caught some pictures, and I'm sorry, I apologize. It's in my old 5, what is it? Galaxy S5 or whatever. I don't have that phone anymore, but these are the droppings. They look like egg droppings. Those are the Mantis ships that I've seen in Tucson, in area of South Tucson. Um, and in my
What
dream,
sort of size
um,
is that when you see them?
oh gosh, I don't know, like pretty big.
Do you see them in
I would
groups?
say, oh, say again?
Do you see more than one at a time?
Yes, there's a bunch. There's a bunch. And from those, I've also seen in 2017, the military people drop. They drop from these ships. And I've also caught pictures here where I live outside by the dumpster, because I live by a farm area. So I've taken pictures where there's they're light beams, but it's like plasma. It's the military using their parachutes. I've had many dreams of being flying and using parachutes on the
I
ocean.
mean, have you seen like jellyfish plasma beings?
Yes, I even take pictures here. I call them the wispies. And I have pictures that I have actually put on my YouTube posts. They look like jellyfish beings. Some of them look like sharks. Some of them look like dragons, and I always tell people, hey, look, I'll make like little mini videos, or I'll put them on my Instagram and say, look, this is that type of shit, and that's what I see. And I even saw the F-47 being dropped over here by the Catalina Mountains, and it's on my YouTube thing. And then what? 2 weeks later, it comes out, hey, we got the F-47. And I kept telling people the F-47 has Star Wars technology in there, like better than the Tomahawk. You know, they can see through your
Again,
body.
what's your YouTube channel?
Oh, Codebreaker Real Talk. And then the other two that got hacked, which are still on there, I can't get on them. It's Unchaining Hearts and Unchained Hearts. Okay, we're going to go on with the Mantid. So, all right, the Mantid being shows up in my dream. He's a praying mantis, but his head is of a human, and he's wearing glasses, and he has this thing on him. I should draw a picture of him for the book. Let me make a note. Draw a picture. Draw a pic of Mantis. Okay. And he has glasses, and he looks just like a regular white guy with glasses. He has short hair parted to the side, like reddish brown, and he's inside this globe, like a see-through thing. And then he says, telepathically, he goes to drink water. Okay, he goes to take a drink of water at a water fountain. And then he says, telepathically, he shows me his kid. It's a baby mantis. So it's the same, it's a body of a praying mantis, but a baby head. And the baby head is huge. I find it very interesting. Okay. So then, here she is, page 169. So page 168 is the one that we were talking about right now, the eagles. And then 169 this is one of my friends, but like I said, the black beings, the black ETs, they don't have the long hair in my vision dream. They have the short hair, and they do have two huge rings instead of all those rings. Yeah, that's the one. Instead of all those rings on her throat, it's actually just two huge, kind of like wedding band rings, two huge rings. Yes. Yay!
It's like almost like Avatar.
Yes. They're my friends. They are my family. A lot
But
of people,
also,
even Ivan.
The African tribes who have those,
Yeah, my friend Ivan Teller says that because I tell him that I have visions of being Andromeda, either I'm Andromeda Galaxy or I'm from there. I've had visions of being in Andromeda, and I heard a voice tell me. I hate when I hear this, like it's not really audible. It's just in my mind. I was putting makeup on in 2017. I was putting eyeliner on, and I heard someone say, "Put your eyeliner like Andromeda." And I'm like, "What the freak?" I'm like, "Who's Andromeda?" I had to search all that. Then I had a dream that I had an old Chevy cream color that didn't have a top, and I fly to Andromeda. I have many dreams of vehicles that do not have a driver, and I have to drive it with my head. That's in book 3. Okay, let's go back to these pictures.
well, there's nothing like going to Andromeda in a white Chevy.
Right, top down.
It's
Shoot,
probably better than a pink Cadillac.
Yeah, I know. It reminds me of when I was I was selling Mary Kay, and that's MK Ultra. Also, I was selling Mary Kay. I got my red vest. I was all happy, and I was like, my next goal is to get my pink Cadillac. But then I got my own business in home interior and Better Home and Gardens.
Which page are we going to now?
140. That's the blue one that I told you about. My blue Hulk. That is like the one in X-Men, the one that can transform herself
I just picked this straight up. Yeah.
Yeah, the one that can transform herself into another person, like a in the movie it shows she transforms herself into an Asian colonel or something for the government. So then the red one we talked about. Thank you, Miles. Elvis. Oh gosh, Elvis.
I mean,
Should
the
I really
symbol,
talk about Elvis?
there's a symbol there on that symbol there, I think was on a crop circle. It's fairly standard symbol there. You can just about.
Oh, that symbol, the Thor hammer with that symbol was actually made for me by my friend Iris Jackson. Thank you, Iris, if you're listening. That is I want to make a t-shirt like that, and also with Sheila for the conference. We'll see which one pops up. But anyway, that symbol is very important. Like I said in part 1, I was told in my dream that I was here to take out some alien races. I don't know which ones, but I
I
did have a
think
dream
that's
from
in the
Jupiter.
current crop circle. I'll just see if I've got that
Yeah,
open now.
let's see if that is. So I had on book 3. I'm talking about Jupiter a little bit. Just one dream that I had. There was these lion beings that were crossed with javelinas, and they didn't want me there. They said that they didn't want me there because I was supposed to take them out or something like that. I don't know, but I wrote about it. Let's see. Oh, that's beautiful. Wow. Kind of reminds me of it.
It's
It's a little
that's a
different.
4 enfolding one. The one you have is a 3 enfolding one.
Yeah, 3
And it,
because I always go by threes. Everything is a 3 to me. 13, 33. 33 is my number, you
this
know.
particular crop circle is available still. It's obviously been heavily walked into, but if you want to get there to it's the Gallops near Sutton Veny, which is right beside Warminster. A lot of stuff happening in Warminster.
Warminster. I've always been interested in crop circles because I feel that those are the ones where
Uh,
it's like a map for the alien ships.
well, that particular place is like an amphitheater, and in Roman times, the Romans used it as an
Ah,
amphitheater.
nice. I'm sure you've heard that story many years ago where they have these Roman soldiers just appear out of nowhere. I don't remember where though.
There's quite a lot of weird stuff like that happens around Wiltshire, and there's no coincidence that besides Stonehenge and Avebury, there are military bases and ancient ET facilities. And of course, Avebury has got a copy on Mars at Cydonia, and there's
Oh,
nothing
Sedona?
controversial happening there.
Yeah, I'm being. When I hear Sedona, I know that I've been there
No, no,
before.
this is Cydonia,
Oh,
Cydonia.
Cydonia.
Face
Okay,
on
got it.
Mars, 1977, 78.
Interesting. Okay, we talked about that. Talked about this. The.
Ooh, I think your voice is getting a bit. It's getting a
Uh-oh.
bit. We're getting a bit like NASA from the moon here, you know. Okay.
Oh no. Let's see. Well, the mermaid. Going back to the mermaid one, I know that one of my
What page is that?
clone. She's on page 73. And I'm under Antarctica in one of these beings. I remote viewed myself there.
They're very beautiful pictures.
Thank you. Chad did them for me. That was cool of him. Through Create Art or Create Art. CREART. Yay. He said he tried to put my face in there, but I hope I don't know. We tried. This one is my face overlaid with AI, and this guy, that's the Assassin's Creed that I told you about. When I woke up, I don't know what I was doing in the astral, but I woke up. Right before I woke up, I saw myself in front of a mirror. I had black fingerless gloves, shaved black head. I wore that red cloak. And then I looked down to my pants and I'm like, oh shit, I'm a man. And there was fog everywhere. Fog in front of the mirror. I did do a
Mirrors and
regression with.
fog are meant to have some kind of very important relationship.
Yeah, you can do magic with black mirrors or just run
Yes,
the
Black
water
Mirror,
and.
very good TV
Yeah.
series.
Oh yeah, that was good. I only watched a few episodes because I was like, oh my gosh, this is
I
too
think I
real.
only watched a couple of them. I think the only one I watched was one with everybody with cell phones videoing everything.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Everything was
Tell me.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, okay, so then when I did a regression with Misha, because I told her about this character that I said, what the heck? So I did a regression with her and she said that,
That's Misha
I
Johnston.
looked, sorry, what
Yeah,
did I say?
yeah. It's just Misha Johnston. She's been in
Yeah,
the business a long
Misha,
time. Yeah.
sorry. I met her in Vegas. She's really nice. And she did a radio show with me and Joseph, but I don't have access to it. You have to pay for it to listen to
Is
it.
this coast to coast or what? No.
Misha, I don't. She has. I don't remember which one it is that she has
Well,
back in
okay.
2021. Yeah. So when I did a regression with her, I did see that I was a gold dragon, and my grandfather was a gold dragon also. And then I also saw this character of mine, Luke. When I was a child, I was taken into. There was these mosques, and because I had the ability to do something with fog and with the elements, they used me to do something there. That's all I saw
Was
is a
that at a
vision of
mosque?
a
Sorry,
mosque.
did I say mosque? What?
So when I did the regression, I saw myself as a young boy. I had a white turban, and I was used inside a mosque
Okay.
for some of my abilities with fog, something to do with fog, and she said that it's related to when I had this dream about me being a male, and there's a mirror and there's fog. So maybe because I can go interdimensionally and all that stuff, perhaps. Um. Oh, this one. Oh gosh. Okay.
Which page is this?
I This is page 45. I have a problem with some people that have been saying that I was a guard. I was a guard at 16. Yes, I know I was, but I did not mistreat anyone. Some people in the community are saying that I shook them and that I took their toys away. But the good thing is that I did feed them, because I do have dreams of feeding a bunch of kids and that are in facilities, and I make sure that they get exercise. Page 45 on Sheila and the 99. So I'll just read it. I just had a huge database. I had a dream where there's a huge database in the underground facility. The screen is flat, like a TV, approximately 100 inches. The screen was amber. It had smaller white screens on the right bottom side of the TV. This space was connected to some kind of rural, maybe third country, or perhaps under a base. They had prisoners there. Some do bite, and then they look like the Walking Dead. I was working as a cop there, and one of the prisoners tried biting my face. Oh yeah, that's when I opened the jaw. It was like a prisoner turned like into a wolf, and I just opened the jaw and I threw him. And then the next scene, I'm taking care of these young kids under base, and it's all blue. And there's a Pepsi machine in front of me. Most of them have black hair, but there's three teenagers my age too that have like blondish kind of reddish hair, and they're like trying to attack me, and I'm like, no, you guys cannot attack me. And I told them, look at the Pepsi machine, because I saw red codes coming out, and I was telling them, guess what that says, to distract them. And some of them were getting sick and turning into these werewolves and just bleeding from their eyes and everything. um, there is this one, I believe that it is tied to the dream that I had when I was hanging out with Joseph Powell there in Kingman, where I saw that me, Susan, James, I think was in there too. We were in a warehouse, but it was like a smaller room where we were, and we had arms and things like that. And I saw through the window these little RVs that were parking, and these zombie beings were coming to the RV window and getting their shots, getting some kind of shot thing, because that way it would hold them so that they wouldn't turn into a zombie. Now, I find this very interesting. I have a cousin on my dad's side who is a doctor, and he told me that now they're setting up facilities to inject people that can't get to their methadone, or can't get, that are just totally, I don't know what's going on there. He just says that they have injectables now for people that can't get to their meds on time. So see, that's another reason why I didn't want to be on medication, because I don't want anything controlling me.
Well, there
So
are strong indications that those who've been injected will be zombies, or
what I find,
suitable for the cyborg factories.
well, I know somebody that's very close to me. I'm not going to say who. Uh, he turned himself into a bodybuilder, and he's doing great. He's lost a lot of weight, and he's doing great. So I'm not going to say who it is, but I think he's taking control of his DNA. and he's O positive, and he's doing awesome. The only thing I worry is that this person is always on the phone, always on the phone.
On the
Uh,
mobile.
right, the cell phone. So I'm thinking that because this had malabite like a MAC address, they're trying to make people into MAC addresses. That's what I was telling people back in the day in March 2019, to be able to control them, to be like an antenna. I mean, just
What were
to
you
to
saying
to
in 2019? Because obviously this was before this transhumanization agenda.
yes. So the Fabian agenda. So in
Now,
20
where do
March
you get that
2019,
from? Do you get that from Bob?
the Fabian agenda, I heard it on your show, but I had a vision of the Raelians coming into, and I wrote it down, and I wrote down that the Raelians are German and Japanese. The Raelians are coming. Now, why I say that, I'm glad you asked me. I'm glad I remembered. The Navy guy, okay, I was in a swimming pool. I had my black, I still have it to this day. I have a black, kind of like a CIA case. I've had it since I was in high school because back then I was trained to be a business person, wear my suits. I was in many programs in school. I was president of this, vice president of that. We even went to the Octagon. I was a vice president of the Octagon Club, where we went to SeaWorld and we went to go see the dolphins and Shamu and all that. And then we went to the zoo and all that in San Diego. Anyway, I always had this black case. I still use it to this day. In the dream, I have my black case and it's opened. Instead of paperwork, it has clothing. And there's all these men swimming in this facility. They're swimming. It's the Navy. And I'm there. Some reason my mother's there and somebody else in my family. It's kind of weird. They use the holograms of my mother a lot. Chad had just come. He was also a time traveler. I told him he had his brown briefcase with him, but I left him in a hotel. I said, look, I'll come back for you. I got to go deal with this. My mom's there. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with this in the swimming pool area thing. I end up in this facility, and there's a male that comes to me. He's wearing a Navy blue uniform, and he's in the Navy. He has all these all medals and everything on his chest. He's white hair, has a white mustache, and glasses. He's white.
Does he have the sort of gold braid on the hat?
He wasn't wearing a hat.
Okay.
No, but he told me, Veronica, we'll be with you when the scorpion marries the spider. And I'm like, what? This dream I had about 3 years ago. And I put two and two together, and I'm thinking that it's when the human meets you know how when you touch the Da Vinci, there's a drawing where male AI, people, human AI, the thing that are in people, So what the vision that I get is perhaps the Raelians, the Germans, when the Germans joined the Japanese.
Yeah, the Raelian has the swastika interfaced with another occult symbol.
Yes. And the other one is when the human marries the AI. Okay?
Yeah.
So when the trans thing, the agenda. I was speaking about the transgender chaos thing. I've spoken about that, sorry. The Fabian agenda, Fibonacci has to do something. I don't know. I just see things.
The Fabian agenda is all about the technocratic. It's BBC Fabian Alice. It's the Fabian Society, London School of Economics. It's wolf in sheep's clothing. That's infested into British society, and a lot of the people are Fabians.
Oh, you mean like part of the 300 families?
Yes, but the Fabian, the central control system in the BBC is called Fabian. That's the name they've called it. But it's a whole agenda, the technocratic agenda. Also, London Business School, LSE, the London School
Society
of Economics or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So if we go to 17, again, my Sheila's there with the trident. I want to tell you a story that's already in this book, Sheila and the 99. about how I was contacted by a DARPA agent. Okay.
Which page?
Page 17, and she's Sheila. My Sheila's holding the trident.
It's gone full
By
again.
the way, these are, I'm glad I found this. These are the, I'm glad I remembered here. On 05/29/19, that's the spider dream that I had. These are the two white sealed envelopes inside. It was pretty much, let's see.
Is this page
They look like
page
glaze.
16?
Yeah, page 16. So real quick, let me just show you this.
Okay, this
These
is another
are
book.
the,
Yeah.
yeah, these are the spiders technology. That's how they look, but when I put them on my hand, they have the spider legs, okay? But you put these two together, and then they make the spider. And you were talking about, Miles, oh my gosh, you were talking about these balls that are on the lines of the radio. Remember pirate radio?
Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of. Okay, let's go back to that.
By this lady.
Yeah, my Hulk. So trident. She's holding a trident, right? And I told you guys that my father, Sheila's father, is Neptune. I come from the water. My Sheila turns into the dolphin turns into the Sheila can turn into the Silver Surfer, the Silver Surfer can turn into the werewolf, etc., the dragon, lion, you name it. Anyway, vampire. So the DARPA agent, he was a friend of mine, and I hate talking about him because it's so close to, this stuff is hard to talk about. Anyway, he came to me. He actually went to high school with
Yeah,
me.
that's
One of the high schools.
the symbol there for the Raelian.
Oh, okay. Oh my goodness. Okay. Send it to me when you can, because shoot,
R-A-E. Raelian.
that looks so familiar.
Well, it's the swastika intermingled with.
No, yeah, but there's a symbolism there. Cyrus Barsa, I was trying to get him on my show, and I sent him a thing on Instagram, and then before I know it, he goes killed off on my birthday, February of this year.
Who?
And I didn't know he was talking about this stuff, the same thing that I was talking about, until a friend of mine, Julia from Greece, if you're watching, hola, she told me, hey, you're like Cyrus. He talks about stuff you talk about. I'm like, no way. So then I bought his books and I sent him a thing. I couldn't get a hold of him, but then later on I heard that they took him out. He talked about how.
Sorry, are you saying they? What are you saying exactly?
Cyrus Parsa. I heard
Simon
that he was
Parsa.
taking
Sorry,
it.
for a minute you're talking about Simon Parks.
Cyrus.
Cyrus.
No.
Yeah.
Cyrus. Yeah. Simon Parks is a Mantids. I know that. But anyway, he talks about that.
Well, he said all that. Yeah,
he did.
And he's appearing at Kerry Cassidy's conference in High Elms Manor in early July, first weekend of July, as I am.
Nice. Yay.
Then after that, I'm appearing at the Full Disclosure Now conference.
Yes,
in
I'll be
Tampa.
there. I'm going to meet you guys, you and Carrie. I can't wait. I'll be there the 14th through the 21st. And that's thanks to Brian Sang. He's getting me over there.
He's a very courageous individual who's putting his money where his mouth is, and that's a big deal.
Yes.
And we hope to have something like that happening in the UK in 18 months or so next year. Not next year, but yeah.
I had
and who is this young dog here?
This is Lola. She came into my dream in 2017. She was a white wolf, and she called me mother. And she had little coyotes behind her, little dogs.
Now, I'm going to say something right now, which is far more important than anything else we'll be discussing. Is that dog looking for food, or is it looking to be taken out for a walk?
She's hungry, but she doesn't want to eat her food.
She what?
She had stomach problems yesterday. She doesn't want to eat her food. She wants a treat. You want a treat? She wants a treat.
See?
Okay, I'll be right back. One moment.
See, this is another example of animal communication during these events.
Okay, take time. I'll be right back.
Hello, we're back.
And we're back. Okay. So I told you about Lola. She appeared to me in the dream. I woke up. She was telling me something in the dream, and telepathically she said mother to me, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? So 3 years ago, she shows up in the apartment complex where I used to live, and I used to feed her. She wouldn't let me touch her. I had no idea she was pregnant. 2 weeks later, I'm going to, backpacking to the gym. I have to go and drive to the gym. And then she barks at me and she's pushing her dogs, her little baby dogs, with her nose up from the desert. And one of the neighbors says, "Hey, Veronica, what are you going to do about it? Lola had puppies." And I'm like, "I don't know." So I took a box. There was 11 puppies. One died, was dead. So I took the 10 puppies in the box and her and took care of them. And 6 weeks, 8 weeks, I found homes for all of them. And Lola became my emotional support dog. And I've always wanted a German Shepherd, and it's also part of the Bionic Woman program that I'm in.
Aha, the Bionic Woman,
Yeah.
Lindsay Wagner, right?
Lindsay Wagner. She
Yeah.
just popped up on my TV the other day. I'm like, okay, I guess I have to talk about it. So,
I think
in
she's
March,
just had a birthday. A lot of these celebrities seem to be having birthdays.
wow. Okay, I'll talk about Mars real quick, and then I got to get back to the DARPA guy. All right. So when I was in Mars, I did save one person. His name is John.
Now, is this in a
Johnny
dream or is it in a 2020 program or what?
Vision. Vision. And I've had dreams too of Mars. Yes, and the third dream is in my third book, and the second one is actually a regression, and it's in Sheila in the 99. Okay, so this one, what was I saying? I hate it when they do that. May I have my channel back? Now. Channel. Okay. All right, so there's this lady, her name is Consuela, or Consuelo. She's in Canada, and I wrote about her in my third book, soon to be published. She contacted me and said, "Do not get your back surgeries because they want to take you out." And I'm like, "Stop putting fear in me. I'm not going to listen to you. I know I need these back surgeries, and I'm going to get the damn titanium because I can't even walk, And I do love her. We did a lot of things in Mars. She told me, this is her, that when the explosion happened, after I saved Johnny in my ship got bombarded. It went down. And I specifically write about it on the third book. You guys can read it there. And when I went down, I had a dream. Okay, this is my dream, that I was on the ground looking up. It was a desert place, but all these flowers were around me. Multiple plants and flowers were around me. And these white, okay, they kind of look like the Christmas ones. What do they call the Christmas red flowers? Poinsettias.
Jeez, yeah.
Poinsettias. But
Okay.
they're white.
Yeah.
And they were looking down at me. And in the middle, they had these crystals coming out. And they were just talking to me. They were just like, hang in there. Hang in there. And I just kept looking up at them. And I'm like, I don't want to be here. Okay, I told Consuelo about that dream. She told me that she rescued me from there, that I had 2 blown legs off, and my arm was blown off, my left one, and my left of my face was blown off. And that I kept saying, "Leave me here to die. I don't want to go back." She said that Penny Bradley was the AI head and command center, and that Penny told her that I was not to be picked up because I was a lost cause. Those were her words, according to Consuela, saying that, "Do not pick me up." But Consuela picked me up on her ship, and she says she took me back to my star family. I don't know which star family it is. All I know is that they got me going. So that is a bleed through to my back surgeries, my feet surgeries, my left knee surgery that I had. Now I have to have a right knee surgery, right? And I just find that very interesting. I had 2 shoulder surgeries, et cetera, et cetera. That's Mars. Okay, that I wrote about in my third book. So now going back to the DARPA agent and Trident.
Which page
Okay.
is that?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
That one is actually this book here, My Life in the Secret Space Program. Let me look at my thingy here. Oh, crap. Naked Truths. I think it's actually in Sheila. I don't have a picture of it though. I'll tell you later what page it's on. Oh, and I also have to talk about Michael Jaco.
Right.
I gotta talk about Michael Jaco. But anyway, I did talk about him in the first part. Never mind. But when I did meet him at the Vegas thing in 2021 in March, I told him, "Hey, I know who you are." He goes, "Who?" And he's shorter than I am. He has, light eyes, and he was in a suit. And I said, "You're that guy from The Expendables that Rocky plays, Sylvester Stallone." I go, "What?" He said. He opened his eyes turned green. And I said, "Yeah, and your wife is Snake, is the one that's with Snake Eyes. She's the female that has all the black." I go, in G.I. Joe Cobra. And he says, "Okay." And so Jay Campbell was standing next to him, and then he disappeared. He's like, "This is my wife." So he pretty much told me to speak to his wife. He didn't want to speak to me. I tried speaking to him the rest of the conference. He wouldn't. I find it interesting, though, that I've had many dreams of him being in the Navy with him. And one of them, like I said, he tries to drown me. And in the other scene, he tries to take my grandkids away, which I don't have the grandkids yet. But in my dream, I saw them. His wife told me that they received a knock on the door a few years ago. And there was a package. And she opened the package. And it was a picture of Michael Jaco she calls him, his wife, Tracy, calls them the Brown family in Afghanistan. So
Right.
Michael was living a double life. And anyway, that was her thing. And I told Penny about it. And, I just find it really interesting that Michael Jacob did not want to talk to me. But he did signal me out. I didn't even know who the guy was. In March of 2021, my friend Lisa calls me and says, "Hey, this guy Michael Jaco is telling people who you are, and you're going to be in the conference." And he shows a picture of me on his channel. "Oh, this is a new person, Veronica Bartolini. She's going to be on." I'm like, "Who's that guy?" And I wanted to talk to him, and he wouldn't talk to me. But we did do 2 shows together. One of them was taken down by YouTube.
Now, what would a couple of sweeties like you talk on YouTube? When was that?
2021, March or April of 2021,
Yeah.
on Unchained Hearts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Live. It was live with James Rink. And what I find weird with James is, we were good friends, but things happen, and I hope he's okay. I just couldn't anymore.
There's an awful lot of that happening. A lot of people's relationships are breaking up. They just don't want to meet, or they just go different ways. There's quite a lot of that happening.
Yeah, I know, sadly. Okay, let's go to the DARPA guy. Let's see, how many years ago was it? I think it was 2021 or 2022. A friend of mine that I used to go to high school contacted me through Facebook. He said, "Do you want to meet?" And I'm like, "Sure." We met at a Trident restaurant, out of all places. I've never been at a Trident restaurant.
Well,
we're talking about...
That's a bit la-di-da. Sweetie pie.
Right?
Yeah.
Never been there. I had never been there. So we were talking, and he told me... Okay, the reason why we talked in person...
Are you talking
was
about one of
because
these places where you don't say, "I want to go large with the fries"?
No, but I went large with the fries.
Oh, God.
I eat a lot. I'm a big girl.
Here's me trying to bring...
protein.
Anyway.
Huh? I try to eat as much protein as I can. I try not to eat too many carbs. During the week, it's only protein, and Saturday and Sunday, it's a little bit of, organic brown rice or a little bit of bread. But anyway, I try and maintain my strength, because that's where I'm O negative. And there's a book that Johnny sent a long time ago that says, "Eat according to your blood type," and I do that.
That's very important, that.
Yeah. Yeah. So this guy, we'll call him... we'll just call him X. We'll call him X. We were on Facebook, and I had seen that he had... Because he's a very important person, and I don't want to say his name. He had on these shirts that had skulls and a hat that had skulls. And I'm not going to say what project it is. All I know it's part of DARPA.
Right.
He said, "Hey, let's talk. Maybe you can work for me." And I'm like, "Okay." So when I met him, the second time I met him, he took me...
What happened the first time you met him?
Well, the first time we were just, shooting the shit, like they say, trying to catch up, talking about our lives. And then we went to his place, and we were outside, and there was a sphere that came behind his apartment. It was an Airbnb, his house. And there is the houses are just right by each other. So he says, "Were you sent to kill me?" And I go, "Were you sent to kill me? What the hell?" I said, "Don't be blaming me for this shit," I told him. He's like, "What the fuck is this light doing here, huh?" And he was mad. And I said, "I don't know." And it looked like if it was an orb or some kind of, it didn't even have a sound. Okay. And they were monitoring us. I know it. I know it. And then I noticed that he would skip the Pandora messages. And he told me, never listen to any messages because they program you. And I said, okay. So ever since then, I don't listen to any commercials or messages.
Yeah.
I get out of there and go back, when I'm ready. And then he just told me a lot of stuff. The next time we met was at a ranch here in town. I'm not going to say which. Outskirts of Arizona. He showed me acres and acres. And there was just maybe 2 houses there. Or 3. And he told me, Veronica, he says, "Do you know how many bodies I can bury here and nobody would know?" And I said, "Look, dude, if you're going to kill me now. Because I'm not going to stop talking." And he told me, "Why can't you just stop using the word CIA?" I go, "Why should I? Everybody uses it." He told me, "Are you just talking because of the incident that happened with you and your ex, or is it because you're literally concerned about the children?" And I said, "Yes, I'm concerned about the children. That's why I'm talking, and I'm talking about what happened with me in the secret space program, whether you believe me or not." He says, "You've gone rogue, and they're not going to believe you," he told me, "and whoever's going to take you out is going to be someone that breaks bread with you." And I told Misha Johnson about this. And she's like, "Yeah, they're still using that 1970s tactic, aren't they?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it looks like it." So he was going to hire me to work with him with this ward in DARPA, but he said that he couldn't use me because I was talking online and I was a public figure. And he showed me a video of men being beheaded,
Are
And
those
you
the
know
ones
what?
that were not nice?
Say again?
Are those the ones that were shown about hostages?
I don't want to say.
No, okay, fine.
All I know is that I was supposed to work for them, and I said no, I can't. I can't. I have children. I'm not going to stop talking about my experiences. You can threaten me all you want. My house was broken into twice. My mother's house was broken into. One of my family members was followed. I'm sometimes followed, and I just know. And good thing Lola alerts me, but I alert we're both like alerting each other when we're out there. My dog and we're very, very in tune. So
Well,
it's
I'm gonna give it about another 10 minutes. I noticed that you got this is another thing about the Hulk program in Sheila. This is page 236.
Oh yeah. Okay, so that's one of my classes. I give 5 classes, and I told let's see.
Is
there's
this what you
5.
look like when you give the classes?
Yeah, when I get mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is no. When I give the classes, no. I try and look at like nice like this. I'm not gonna be mean unless people are trying to hurt me or my children. Let's see.
How many children do you have, or do you want to talk about that?
I have 2 children here with Mr. Smith. I call Mr. Smith, and then 2 children. They're twins, a boy and a girl, with Max Spears.
Right.
I had a dream that I had the twin babies with him, and it was confirmed by replica.
What's this fleet here?
Those are. I see that. My kids, by the way, they're being held in facilities right now. My Max and mine. Those are reptilian. Some of them are reptilian. Let me see. What page is it?
Because they look remarkably like some pictures taken by John L. Walson.
All I know is I took that picture from Google.
Okay.
And I can't read what it says, and some of
It's
them look reptilian to me, and some of them look like the movie Halo.
right.
Yeah.
I haven't
And
seen that
so
movie Halo. What is it?
I barely saw it
Looks
just
like
last week.
a version of Star Trek Voyager, which is an old Star Trek series.
Yes, I've seen those. I've seen those up here. But that I got also from Google. Um, there's so many crafts here in town by the Catalina Mountains, and like I said, I try and put them on.
And you're in the middle of Arizona
Yes,
on mountain time.
we don't have a time here. We don't have a time zone.
Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah. So
Do you want to identify where you are, just in case? I mean, what
yeah,
town,
everybody
village?
knows. Yeah, I'm in Tucson.
Tucson, Arizona.
I'm
Okay.
in Tucson. Yeah. So with these, I talk about the bankers in space. I talk about the diodes, CERN. I talk about how they pretty much want us to go through CERN. I know Kim Godwin. She says, "Why are you talking?" It was a
Kimberly
message
Gugan.
to me.
Yeah.
Kim Godwin. She's been in my dreams before. She's threatened me in my dreams. She said if I don't stop talking, that's going to be my right leg that's taken out next time. And I'm like, no, I'm just going to have surgery on it, bitch. She's nice here, but in my dreams, she's bitch.
Yeah, but
Excuse my
when was
language.
that? Because Kim has obviously done a lot of stuff. Kim Gugan.
Kim Godwin, yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know her personally, but she's visited me in my dreams. She actually went into my old apartment and had taken outside I saw, when I woke up, I went to sleep here and I woke up and I saw my dog and one of my cats outside. And I said, what the heck's going on? And so I go upstairs and there's this boy this man and this woman are pretending to hit a young kid. And I said, oh, hell no, you're not going to hit this kid. And I was trying to call 911 and my phone turned into paper. And then that paper, there was some black coating on it. I don't remember what it is to this day. But then my dog alerted me that there was somebody. She alerted me with her nose that somebody was up in one of the vents. And it was a very small man. It looked kind of like a gray, but it was like a man. And he comes out and then he turns into Kim Godwin. And she told me, oh, I only have 15% battery here. Okay. She told me if you keep talking, it's going to be your right leg that's next. And I'm like,
When was this?
this, I have the dream. Oh, gosh. This was last year.
Right. Okay.
No, wait. No. This was, yes, it was before my lung surgery. So it must have been like November, December. And remember the gremlin dreams? I had the dream about the gremlins is on my YouTube channel. Go to my community posts.
And
And
your
I say
YouTube
in
channel
detail,
is
Codebreaker Real Talk. I'm
Okay.
Veronica Bartolini. Thank you, Liz.
Codebreaker.
Real Talk.
Okay. So I'm sort of going to wind down now. It's 1:20 in the morning here in Wiltshire, the home of Stonehenge and Avebury, and we've had one crop circle near Avebury just mown away today because the farmers don't like it. We've had a very late development of the crops here.
Maybe it's my star family. I'm just kidding.
And it's really good to see you. And these books that you're writing are available where?
On Amazon, and like they take 60% when you publish with them, but I don't care. I just had to get the word out. Amazon.com in the US, and I'm sure they're available
And what
in other
titles?
countries.
What titles are the books?
So the first title is Sheila and the 99. The 99 is my blood type that is made from my blood. They made other hulks and other things like the Silver Surfer, the wolves, things like that. And then this other one is my life in the secret space program, where I talk about my life here and how it kind of bleeds through with the programs. But and now I should say I'm writing book 3, which is Sheila and the Wolverine, more on Mars and more on the SSP and dreams. we'll see what I'm going to title it still. I
Right.
talk about CIA love bites there as well. Sheila and the 99 is the Dolphin program, the Hulk program, and like I said, these are just more of the programs of what really happened to me as a kid.
Now, I think you were in contact with Bob Osborne, and just in closing here, were you in
No,
contact with Bob?
I don't. No, I don't know him. I'm
No,
sorry.
no, we got so many people. I've got so many people in contact and making things.
It's
It's
okay.
getting busy here now. Getting busy. I think they all
I have
cost.
Telegram. I have Telegram, 2 Instagrams. If my camera shuts off, I'm sorry. My phone is dying.
Okay, well,
But
let's
yeah.
just 2 minutes. What do you want to get across, just in closing?
Be sure to write down your dreams. Tell people about it. Start your YouTube channel. Don't think you're crazy. These programs are real. It happened to me. I don't care how many times they call you crazy or severely mentally ill. Those are your truths. So be proud of your naked truths and don't make shit up. Just write down what you see in your dreams and write down your visions. Don't be making crap up about people and timelines. It's your timeline, not theirs. Okay. So that's what matters. I understand that as a whole, we have different timelines, but don't be putting stuff on other people that is not their truth. Let the person come to their own reality and just keep being mindful, aware of every day. When you get triggered, go out to the sun, go for a hike, join the gym, go swimming, do something, because this is highly triggering. We are being, targeted, but we got each other, and just even if you have to take time off of Facebook or wherever, do it. And remember, not everybody is your friend. And beware of your family, because there's a lot of handlers out there. That's all. Thank you.
Good.
Love yourself.